Well, there we go. Your Curd Nerd Journey. Welcome, I'm Gavin Weber and I'm the host of the show. Got my apron on because I needed to get in the mood for all the editing that I've done today. I've got the baby Swiss video. I've done the voiceover, I've done the music, I've done all the cuts, and I'm hoping after the show I'm going to get it finished and rendered and put up for members and for patrons. So that will be good fun. Anyway, better stop those things coming up. But let's just get rid of that. There we go. Today's episode is, as you saw in the start, the thumbnail, is for Herb Brooks. And Herb has an interesting journey that he has shared with us. So before we start, though, let's say good day to a few people. We've got Shauna in the chat. We've also got Becky. We've also got Herb, of course. We've got Nicola. Hello, Nicola. And we've got Davo. They're the ones that have popped into the chat. There's 13 others there somewhere. So if you want to say g'day, then now is the time to do it. I've got Petra. Hello, Petra. Lovely. Goodness me. Before we start, Petra says, I recall working in the dairy processing sector. I was put off cheddar, cheese and milk powder. Seeing 60,000 litres of milk being pumped through the cheddar plant will put anybody off. Yeah, I suppose if you do it every single day and you do it at such a large scale, it would be a little bit difficult. Anyway, today's episode is for Herb. So let me just bring up Herb's photos that he's sent in and the thing to read. Where is it? No, that's not it. Gav, take charge of yourself. There it is. Goodness me. Rightio. And over to Herb. There he is. Yay! Thank you, Herb, for sending this in. I really appreciate it, of course. So let's read out Herb's story. Now, hopefully I can do it in my best reading voice. Here we go. Herb Brooks' My Cheese Journey. I'm a graphic industrial / print designer working in Houston, Texas, USA, at a rapidly growing sign company and doing freelance print design, websites and video work for side clients. My primary design and plan... I primarily design and plan very large electric signs made from steel, aluminium, and various other materials. I've always had an interest in cooking. By age 7, I'm 54, I was making breakfast, flipping eggs in a pan with no spatula and helping around the kitchen. Fast forward to 2019. I took an interest in learning more about food preserving techniques and how food was made prior to modern times of refrigeration. I came across a YouTube channel called Townsend's. One of the videos there was about making cheese. Liking cheese but finding it very expensive at the store made me search on YouTube for cheese making. I found your channel, Gavin, did some research and watched the live streams. I also read several books, including your first one on home cheese making and the science of it, discovering that not only was it possible to make my own cheese, but that the process is fascinating and deliciously rewarding. Being a do-it-yourselfer made me curious and gave me the confidence to try. I started making 1 to 2 cheeses a week for about a year and a half, ending up with a cheese cave that was overflowing. Quick mozzarella was one of the first cheeses I made in July of 2019, along with ricotta and some farmhouse cheddar. The quick mozzarella turned out to be the best of those early batches. As we made Italian food for Christmas, I seriously upped my lasagna game with that and the ricotta. The only real failure was a Jarlsberg that wilted and collapsed during the warm phase. having no chickens or goats that went straight into the trash dumpster. A few others turned out so-so, but the majority to date have been fantastic. In 2023, saw a slowdown in my cheese making due to the area we lived in deteriorating with crime and unsavoury people, and my work being somewhat erratic. My wife and I recently moved into a better neighbourhood, a better apartment, and I am once again making cheese in a much better kitchen. 2024 is back to regular cheese making. I make 4-gallon batches as it takes the same time as a 2-gallon or a 200-gallon batch. 4 gallons fits my mould/basket perfectly and gives me a 4 to 5 pound wheel, which is about 2 to 2.5 kilograms. I have included some pictures of my homemade cheese press. Oh, here we go. There it is. Good looking cheese press. Looks like it's made out of pine, I think there, Herb. It's very primitive, but it works great. And some others of cheese making and cheeses I've made. There's a Caerphilly I've made that turned out splendidly, and an early pepper jack. The Caerphilly pictures are labelled and should be shown in succession. Thank you once again for the live streams and all your knowledge. As long as I can afford it, I will be an ardent supporter. I tell others about cheese making, encourage them to try and to watch your videos. Regards, Herb. Well, thank you, Herb. That's a lovely little story. I like the way that your quick mozzarella was the first one to actually turn out. So that is quite unusual, I think, because the first time I made quick mozzarella, it didn't work. I don't know if it did something or not sure, but I didn't really know what I was doing at the start, so I gave it a few more tries, perfected it, and it turned out quite well. Anyway, some more cheeses here that Herb has sent in, so let's get into that. So the first one is a Colby that he made in November 2020. That is fresh out of the press before the brine, and I like the size of that mould. Not a lot of holes, but it obviously still works, so that's really cool. Not sure where you got that from, Herb. Looks like it's probably one of the ones from New England Cheese Making Supply, possibly. Let me know, that'd be interesting. There is Herb's pepper jack, and I love the big chunky bits of pepper in there as well as there's some chilies going through it as well. So a very nice looking pepper jack. I like the mechanical holes, are no issues. But yeah, a great looking cheese, and from what you said, it tastes very nice. The next one, so this is Herb's, he's got a little mini tutorial going on here, how we made Caerphilly. So this is the equipment that Herb uses. So he uses an over nano sous vide in a big plastic tub where he then puts his pot, and we'll see that in a minute. So he's got his all his stainless steel stuff, and that's all been sterilised, and a glass bowl. Step 2, he's got milk, and he uses so they're 1 gallon containers, I dare say. What's that? Strike, Jersey Farm. Oops, let me just scroll in. Grade A raw milk, and it's got a batch number or something there. So what's that? Schulzenberg, Schulzenberg, right? Schulenberg. I'll get it right in a minute. Goodness me. In Texas. Very interesting. So 4 gallons. That's a lot of milk. That's 15 and a bit litres, I think. And I also like, Herb, that you've got... Can I scroll in for this? There, he's got a log sheet there. So when he makes a cheese, he uses a log sheet, which is very interesting as well. I'll have to start making up some. Probably could sell one, I reckon. Anyway, move right along. So step 3, he's bringing the culture to temperature. I think he's got... bring the milk to temperature, maybe? Yeah, bring the milk to temperature. So he's got a massive big, what's that, about a 16, 17 litre pot maybe. And then heating that up. And he's obviously in Fahrenheit there, not Celsius. And number 4, the culture's been added. You can see it's been sprinkled over the top of the cheese. So that's interesting. Herb said that's a 5-gallon pot. Cool, thank you for that, Herb. And that he got his mould from the New England cheesemaking supplies, or cheesemaking.com. So this is after the rennet has been added. And then the curds have been cut. He's got a nice big flat blade knife there. I think that looks like one of those, the cake, you take the cake out and you can cut the cake and take the cake out with it. Or, what do they call it? A buttering knife or an icing knife. As long as it hasn't got a pointy tip so you don't stab anybody. Anything will do to cut the curds, as long as it's, decently sharp on at least one of the sides anyway. I've got a rather large bread knife type thing, so so that's what I use. Made by Mad Millie is what I use. But yeah, interesting choice of curd knife there. Herb looks really like it works well. Then cooking the curds. I'm not sure what's that. The curds are very small. I don't think they are. There they are. Draining the curds, draining the whey through cheesecloth and a colander. And then the cheddaring process. He's got a few slabs there. I think he's got about 4 slabs by the looks of it. And then turning them every so often, as per the recipe, to aid in developing the texture and reducing the whey. And this helps add to the flavour as well. And then the first pressing, he's got a weight on it, 8 pounds. So that's a big container of water. So 1 gallon. So that'll be, what, about 4 litres? 8 pounds? Yeah, that'd be right. Yeah, about 4 litres. So that'd be about 4 kilograms of water in there. Just trying to convert into metric. Yeah, that looks good. And I see you got it on a tray there to catch all of the whey that's seeping out. And then there's the final wheel there. And that's a good looking wheel of cheese. So, lovely looking Caerphilly, Herb. Well done. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. Fantastic. Now, Herb says he's got a few comments here. He gets the milk. That's a small town a couple of hours west of Houston. The pot is a 5-gallon pot. He also has a curd harp for the horizontal cuts, like I do in the video. So that's good. Thank you, Herb. And yeah, that's it. No, and the mold was from New England cheesemaking supply. That point, Herb also said his press is made with 2x6 pine boards. Yeah, so that's the cheese press. Very good. And the Nicola says that the colour of the milk. I wish we could get Raw's milk in Australia, unless you have your own cow. Yeah, that's the. Unless you got your own cows or goats, you haven't got much chance of getting raw milk here. And then a lot of artisan cheesemakers will pasteurise, so they'll vat pasteurise, so low temperature, long hold pasteurisation anyway, even if they do use raw milk initially. But yeah, thank you, Herb, for all those photos. That is wonderful. Lovely little story. I enjoyed presenting it today. Hopefully I did it justice. So thanks again. Now, just a note on next week's show before we get into some questions and stuff like that. If people want to have a chat, that would be lovely. The next show will not be next Wednesday. It will be on the 29th of May, and the episode is Michael Adamson. A lot of people who are regular viewers of the show will know him better as Persnickety. So Persnickety has shared his story and some photos. So he'll have his episode on the 29th of May. So if you want to be featured on your Curd Nerd journey, then I do encourage you to send in using this format. So a short story, no longer than 1,000 words. It can be longer. I'm not fussed. The longer it goes for, the longer the show goes for. But if you can get down at least, maybe I should put at least 1,000 words, and up to 5 photos. I'm quite happy to have lots of photos like I did with Herb. So it is then read out during the live stream. So the premise is, tell me about your cheese making journey so far. How has it changed your life? How and why did you get started? The ups and downs along the way, and anything else that you would like to share. So once you've got your story, Word or email, I don't mind, however you want to send it to me. Word's a little bit easier because I can just have it up on the screen and read it. But where do you send it? Well, I did put in the thing there. Hang on, where did I put it? There you go. Send it to gavin@littlegreenworkshops.com.au. But if you can't remember that, then you can always go to the YouTube channel and you can go to this bit here. It says, do you want to become a Curd Nerd? You can click on that and you get all the gumph about my channel, and you can see the email address. So you just click on that. You're going to be logged into YouTube, of course. So that is where you send your Curd Nerd journey for Wednesdays, or any photos if you want to share them in the gallery for the Sunday morning show, my time. So that's how we do it. Once again, thanks to Herb for his Curd Nerd journey. If anybody's got any questions, then please don't hesitate to pop them into the chat, and I will attempt to answer them. Now, let's have a look. Shauna says, it's an awesome looking pepper jack. Unfortunately, nobody here would eat it apart from me. Yeah, I think I would. If I was visiting Shauna, I would eat pepper jack, that's for sure. And it was a good looking one too, Herb. Nicola says, I've done quick mozzarella. It turned out okay, but I prefer more taste in my cheese. Yeah, I made, Nicola, I made buffalo mozzarella, which is the traditional sort of way, and I found that to be far superior than any quick mozzarella that I've ever made, or any fior di latte style mozzarella, so made with cow's milk. The buffalo milk mozzarella is just so superior. It's just, you can't compare. It's like chalk and cheese, as in it is the cheese and everything else is the chalk. So yeah, if you can get your hands on some buffalo milk, I tell you what, it makes the best mozzarella, using the traditional recipe of acidifying the curds, the milk, with starter cultures or thermophilic starter cultures, and then waiting the right amount of time until the pH gets down to about 5.3 to 5, and then start stretching. And the moisture content and the fat content is just magnificent. So if you can get your hands on some water buffalo milk, then do yourself a favour and have a go. So it is really nice. Herb says that the farm that he gets the milk from brings milk, cheese, cream, eggs and other products into Houston every other week. And they can't sell it in stores here. It has to be at least pasteurised. So it's good to see that you can get your hands on the raw milk on the sly there, Herb. So good looking thing. Now I've got a question from Becky. Says, is Strepto subspecies Diacetylactis, I'll get it out in a minute, Diacetylactis, the only culture that gives butteriness? I have the option of using a farmhouse mix, doesn't have Diacetylactis, or doing a mesothermo separately to get diacetyl. Becky, it's not Streptococcus, it's Lactobacillus lactis subspecies. something diacetylactus. Hang on, I'll just bring it up. 2 seconds, and I will bring up what it is what it is called. Oh, Gav, where'd you put it? Just finding the cultures document and see if we can put it over here that people can see it. Can we see it? Okay, let's make it bigger. Get rid of this bloody thing on. Rightio. Maybe not that big. It's too big. Right, here we go. Right, so let me just go down to here. Sorry for doing this, but we've got a menu down the bottom. Legend, here we go. So it's Lactococcus lactis subspecies Lactis biavar diacetylactus is the starter culture, LD for short. Let's call it LD, shall we? And LD produces a buttery, it produces high diacetyl in the cheese, so diacetyl action, which causes a buttery flavour and no gas. So let me just go back up and see what culture is probably the best for a farmhouse cheddar. So what I tend to do is use this combination here. So Lactococcus lactis subspecies lactis, Lactococcus lactis subspecies chromoris, LC, and LD, the Lactobacillus diacetylactus, and it's got ST, or Streptococcus thermophilus. Now, the Streptococcus thermophilus actually does help with farmhouse cheddary sort of cheeses. So anything cheddary or of that ilk from, UK semi-hard to hard cheeses, I tend to now use the MA4000 series, either MA4001 or 4002. It's the same culture, right? And I find that it produces a really nice cheddary cheese. It does produce, so it's a moderate acidifier with some gas and diacetyl production, similar to bacteria balance in raw milk. Farmhouse culture is used for most types of cheese, slightly open texture. And you can see that if you have cut open into a farmhouse cheddar recently, you would see that that cheese does have a little bit of an open texture, a little tiny bit of gas production sometimes, not enough to create eyes, but more so that it opens up any mechanical holes that are there. So always, if you get any small eyes or gas production, just check. This reference can be found at, where is it? Mary Carlin's site, Artisan Cheese Making at Home. It's one of the documents that she's got available that I use frequently. And just check that if it says some gas production and you've got some small eyes in your cheese, then it hasn't blown. It's okay. But if you're using a culture that has no gas production and it's got eyes and they shouldn't be there, then either you're using raw milk that hasn't been pasteurised, and there may be some propionic Shimani in there, but propionic Shimani doesn't really make eyes unless it has a warm phase. So it could be contaminated. So just check. One of the best ones, Becky, is for a Buddha-Kaiser. Can I find it here? Is it in this list? Sorry, just up here. MM100. Here. It's a moderate acidifier with some gas and high diacetyl production, so high butteriness. Used for brie, camembert, Havarti, Gouda, Edam, feta, blue cheese, Sherv, and other buttery open textured cheeses. Optimum diacetyl production is at 70 to 72 Fahrenheit. So yes, that's around 21 degrees. So that's just the temperature range that the LD works at best. So as your milk heats up, then you're getting some of that production. But I think that I've started using MM100 in a lot of recipes. In fact, in the recipe that I've been doing the edit on the Baby Swiss that they used MM100, and so far so good. I think it's worked out okay, but time will tell whether the eye development has happened. Now Becky goes on to say the diacetyl lactose part is the part I meant. Clarified it was actually for Budokazer. I used the farmhouse mix because it was convenient and had meso and thermo, but I wanted more butteriness in the final cheese, and I'm missing that. Okay, so a good way to do it, if you can get your hands on Flora Danica there in South Africa, I'm pretty sure that cheesemaking.co.za website has Flora Danica, so that would be perfect for Budokazer if you wanted to use that. I don't think that'll be a problem. You get a little bit of gas production, so you may get some eyes, because it's a very soft cheese as well, so you could try that. So you will get more butteriness if you use, say, Flora Danica. Probably a better selection, and that doesn't have any thermophilic strains in it. By using the mix that you did, the thermophilic culture tends to inhibit a little bit of the butteriness flavour. So I use either MM100, which will cause that buttery flavour, or Flora Danica, which is another good one as well. Becky says we don't get the M series here in South Africa from Danisco. I have the mix, and then I have Streptococcus and Meso separately. Davo has a question, and he says, I made a double Gloucester this week, and in the cheddaring time, the bottom slabs wouldn't hold the weight and spread out. What could cause that? Did you do a squeeze test before you drain the curds? If they stuck together but then wouldn't be released when you pushed your thumb into it, they were undercooked and held too much whey, and that's probably what may have happened. Sometimes, look, they do spread out. I know when I do cheddaring, that happens all the time. You just pull them apart and then just flip them over and do what you have to do. During the cheddaring phase, they will spread out because they're still quite moist, and that's what cheddaring does. If you go and have a look at a big any video on YouTube on how they make cheddar, just have a look how they make the cheddar slabs. And during that cheddaring phase in the big rectangle stainless steel tanks, they're flipping them over, and as they flip the big slabs of curds, you'll see they start to flatten a little bit. So it does happen, even in the commercial world. Nicola has a question. It says, I saw on a TV program where they added culture to milk and then placed some in an ice cube tray and then froze for later cheese making. Can this be done? Yes. However, they tend to sell this style of culture as that's called a mother culture. It is not direct set. You can't simply add it to the milk. It's usually in a liquid form. It looks a little bit like yogurt. Some dairies even just use the whey from the cheeses that were made the previous day, and certainly in a couple of cheeses that I know offhand, like Parmigiano Reggiano, they use the whey from the previous day's Parma and pop it into the milk, and that's how they culture the cheese. Same goes for skyr, the Icelandic yogurty sort of thing that's set with rennet. They add the whey from the previous day and put it back into the milk, and that's how they keep the culture. And you can actually freeze that as well. But a mother culture, you can buy it, but I haven't found it in Australia. So there you go. Yes, it's called a mother culture. Becky says we can get Flora Danica from a company further away from here, but still it is available. But still it is. I'll try that. Yeah, try Flora Danica. It'll work. If they're worth their salt, they'll ship it quickly to you, and you'll be able to. It won't degrade it or anything like that. So if they take weeks and weeks, then that's a bit of a problem. Maddie says, what's your favourite potato recipe? Not very cheese related, but I do like raclette potatoes. There you go, that's my favourite potato recipe. So, have you ever had raclette that's been put over a grill and then they scrape the raclette off onto boiled potatoes and they top it with some little gherkins, little chopped up gherkins, yeah, it is absolutely delicious. So it's called raclette potatoes. Delicious. Maddie says, as a cook, what is your favourite cheese recipe? As in making food out of cheese. Right, so one of my favourites, Kim makes it probably once a year, and that's called Anglesey eggs. Anglesey eggs has a lot of Caerphilly, one of those Welsh cheeses, and it is absolutely delicious. It's kind of like mashed potato, Caerphilly cheese, boiled eggs, kind of like mashed a little bit through them, with some leeks. Obviously, there's leeks in there, and it is something to behold. The flavours just go so well together. So, Anglesey eggs, go and look that up, Maddie, on taste.com or wherever you get your recipes from. I think that's where we got it when we wanted to make it. And it was quite lovely. But, of course, I made the Caerphilly myself. So that kind of helps as well, get an amazing flavour in your cheese recipes. As a home cheese maker, when you do use your cheeses in recipes, I find that the flavours are just outstanding when they're added to food, especially when you're making something like your own, Parmigiano Reggiano or Parmesan. Let's call it Parmesan. Let's not call it by its PDO name or DOP name. So, yeah, Parmesan or the cheese that can't be mentioned, any of those grating style cheeses, we get them so much fresher than what you would if you got it imported from Europe. We're here in Australia. So any cheese that we make ourselves is going to be 10 times fresher than what it would be if it was imported from Europe or wherever the cheese is made outside of Australia. So, yeah, you'll find that you'll have some amazing cheeses that go very well in all sorts of food. So, Sean has just chimed in and says, I just made a Caerphilly. Definitely have to make Anglesey eggs this month. It is a delight. I'm sure everybody will love it too, Sean, because it doesn't have any pepper in it, or it's not spicy. It's just comfort food. It's just so nice. I can't remember how we served it. I think we just had it on a plate and just ate it as it was. It was really nice. But yeah, nice fresh eggs as well. That kind of helps. Okay, so it's 30 minutes past the hour, and we'll keep going as long as we have questions. Davo's got one here. He says, I actually tried the squeeze test for the first time. How hard do you have to squeeze it? Okay, so you squeeze it gently until the curds come together. Okay, and then when you let your hand go, the curds should mat together. And then when you press your thumb into the curds, it breaks apart straight away. There's very little resistance. And then you know that the curds are cooked. Now, if they stick together too much, all right, so so some of the failures in the test are, if you squeeze it gently together and then let go and it falls apart, the curds are overcooked. Okay, and you're going to have a hard time pressing them. They're overcooked either by time or too much temperature, or the curds were too small when you cut them. If you press it and it stays together, but you can't press your thumb into it and that doesn't break apart, then it's quite possibly that they're undercooked and they're holding too much whey and they're sticking together. So I usually find I don't have too many troubles with the squeeze test, and usually it works without too many issues. The times that I've got in my recipes, it seems to be fine, and I haven't had too many problems. And when I do, I show it in the videos anyway. So Nicola says, I might try this too. I even have my own eggs and homegrown potatoes. That is fantastic, Nicola. You're living the good life. What's his name? Oh, I forgot. Tom and Barbara style. That's it. Yeah. Shauna says, I got 50 chickens. 50 chickens, my God. I think I should have enough fresh eggs, hopefully. I think you will, Shauna. At the height of my little urban farm here, we've only got a, an 800 square metre block. The house takes up a bit. We've got a veggie patch on one side. Where the studio is now, and you've probably seen the studio video, we used to have a chook house called Cluckingham Palace, and Kim even painted a sign for it. It was very cute. At the peak, I think we had 18 chickens, and that's about all I could manage. And we had so many eggs, we were just giving them away. We just couldn't use them all. There was 5 of us at home at the time. The other 2 have left home, the other kids. So we're getting through quite a few eggs. And then as kids left home, and chickens passed away, as they do, we got down to one, and her name was Mrs. Potts, and she passed away about a month ago, which was sad. So we have no chickens anymore. I just don't have the space for it anymore now that we built the studio. So, Shauna says that she has 50 ducks and turkeys. Do you sell them or something, Shauna? The chickens or the eggs or something? Seems to be a lot of chickens, and the turkeys would be for Christmas, maybe. Yeah, not sure. Herb says having some chickens and goats would be really cool. Indeed. Now, if I had lived on a country block, I probably would have some dairy animals to milk and get some milk for cheese making. That would be absolutely amazing. I'm envious of people that have got a little bit of space, but really, I'm getting to that age. I know you're older, Shauna. Getting to that age that I don't really want to take up too many new projects, especially that I retire in how many days? Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 days. I'm officially retired. Anyway, cool. Nicola says, I actually have a young doe called Geraldine from The Good Life. I love that series. Yeah, it was really good. I loved it as well. I knew many people like Margot. I was a bit like Tom, and Kim was a little bit like Barbara at one stage when we changed our lifestyle from one of excess to one of production ourselves for our own food. So it's very cool. Maddie says, my favourite cheese recipe is Disneyland's white cheddar soup. I haven't heard of that before, but I might have a look. White cheddar soup. Now, this better be legit, Maddie. So, anyway. Shauna says, stop rubbing it in that you are retiring. I wish I could, and I'm 5 years older. Sorry, Shauna. Yeah, not only did the business kind of help, I've been, well, I won't say retired. Since I was retrenched in 2018 from my IT job, we saved some of the money, as you do with that, got the business off the ground, and, it is what it is today. So it is supporting us, and the good thing is I got a little bit of superannuation, so I'm going to start drawing down on that, because I have lodged tax returns, but the last 2 years I've lodged losses, so I officially haven't got a wage per se. We've got a partnership, and the partnership splits the money between Kim and I. So it's a technical retiring. I'm not really. I'm still running the shop. I still pack orders every second day, and Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, I'm packing and shipping orders out from the shop. So I'm not really retired, Shauna. I'm just tongue in cheek, just joking. So there you go. Anyway, it is what it is. I just get more money because I can draw down from super, so technically. And I got sent a application form by my local MP 2 days ago. with an application form for a happy birthday card, of course, as you do, from your local MP. Don't ask me why. And he sent me a form to apply for my seniors card. So apparently I get free buses on Saturdays and Sundays or something, and 10% discount at stores that give it to me. Anyway, yeah, so it is what it is. And there you go. Now, Shauna says, I'm just a carer and it's a 24/7 job. You're not just a carer, Shauna. People depend on you, and I wouldn't say it's just a carer. I've been a carer many times for Kim when she had really bad MS. She's a lot better now. But through her cancer journey as well, as she got better from that. And, I treated it as something not just. I was proud to do the job and to do it well. So I know you're a proud lady, and you should be a proud fact that you do that sort of thing. So it's not just a carer. It's a great job. Nicola says, I retired from paid work 2 years ago at 60 and now working harder than ever. Yeah, you do things to fill the time, don't you? But things that make you happy, that's what gets me, is that as I've finished the corporate world, I'm still finding things to do me time. Like today I set out to I was going to make the Comte. I missed yesterday because we had heaps of orders, which was great, and I just couldn't do it. So I sat down and decided today, I thought, right, what am I going to do? I had a look. I thought, right, I've got to do the newsletter, which I still haven't got around to, the Kurd Nerd newsletter, and there's the Baby Swiss video that I have to edit. So it's taken me all day, and I've nearly finished it, and I'm going to finish it tonight. So after the stream, but yeah, Shauna. Like I said, Shauna, a lot of respect on being a 24/7 carer, because I know when I had to do it for Kim, I don't have to do it so much now, but when I had to do it for Kim, it was hard work, and yeah, it was 24/7, but it is it's rewarding, if that makes sense as well. But yeah, thank you for doing that, mate. Okay, as Nicola says, it's hard work being a carer. Well done, indeed it is. Alrighty. Maddie says, my roommate's a fan and wants to say I changed my lifestyle for cheese. Yes. Well, I have. And I can't see it's a bad thing either, personally. So, alrighty. Shauna says it's a labour of love, the carer. Yeah, it's because it's your mum, right? Yeah, indeed. Good on you, mate. Okay, so don't think there's any other questions. We've been going for 45 minutes. That's pretty good today. So thank you, everybody, for asking questions and the bit of a chitty chat. It's been a fantastic little show. And thank you, Herb, for your story and your photos. It's been lovely. Now, like I said, next week there isn't a show on Wednesday night. There still will be the weekend ones, because I'll be celebrating my retirement. And Kim and I are going to enjoy ourselves on that day and the day after. So, so there won't be a show. I will be absent from the interwebs. Thank you so much, everybody. It's been a great episode and great fun chatting to you all. Don't forget that if you want to pick up supplies for making cheeses, then you could do no worse than pop on over to littlegreenworkshops.com.au and I'll ship them out personally, myself, to you. If you want to get any merch that we sell, you can pop over to merch.cheeseman.tv and pick up a lovely mug like this one. Well used as well. Alrighty. Well, thanks for watching, Kurd Nerds, and I will see you on Saturday Live, and in between that time, the Baby Swiss cheese tutorial, for what it's worth, will be released as well. So those who are members will get early access and at least 24 hours before I release it to the general public. Alrighty, thanks for watching, Curd Nerds, and I'll see you next time.